Hello and welcome to this video. It's going to go under the subject Rugby in Focus, and it's another video in which I try to explain the basics of a defence, but this primarily focuses on the Wales v Ireland Six Nations game, where we look at one passage of defence in particular where Wales are defending Ireland, and I guide you through what makes the defence so good. As always, all rights reserved by the relevant companies, so yeah. On with the video, I guess.
Tackle, that's good. Perfect, thanks, mate.
So, as you saw in the first part of that clip, Wales have got a fairly good defence, no real holes for the Irish to go through, and one of the reasons for that is they've got a consistent positioning of where everyone is, so everyone knows their exact role. So they always have someone covering in behind. That's because Sexton, not only in that game but as a player, has quite a good chip or kick over the top of the defence. But the main part of the defence is those forwards in front of Roberts. So there's 5 Welsh players there and a 6th on the floor after he's made the tackle, but they're not really committing, so they can get the defence sorted. So they have the flanker in Warburton. This is because if he'll follow the ball and probably shift in behind Charteris and let his space be taken by number 5 Alan Wynne-Jones. And as he follows the ball, it means if someone gets a low tackle, he can go on the ball. So that's kind of one of the roles you can deploy a flanker in. But they are all Warburton is leading the charge on the ball, so the scrum half or a pick and go won't be able to get through because he's guarding that area, whereas Charteris will be looking at the fly half or the next man in. But everyone is also working around the corner, which you saw in the clip, but you can't really see obviously in this small image. But they're all going to go around the corner and then get ready in the next phase of play. So in this image after the clip, a small clip that time, but the main thing here is the tackler's position. Even though he's on one knee, it means his body is still pushing up against the tackle, so it makes it more effective. And it means he actually makes the tackle. So even if you do go onto your knee, so long as you bring him down, no one's going to really care. And also, if you're already on the ground, it means you can roll away quicker. It's just focusing on making those tackles.
Tackle only!
So in this image you can see the number 13, who would be traditionally leading that blitz defence, has shot out the line to cut off the overlap that's outside him. Primarily this is to increase the pressure on the Irish defence, but it means that there is a hole for Paul O'Connell to exploit in between now the flanker, who's still coming across from the ruck, and the winger. So if you are going to push, you have to go up as a line, otherwise you leave what's called a dog leg, and that means there's just space in behind for the man to push through, and it means Ireland get over the gain line and it gives the attack some momentum. I know this is a video about defence and how you improve your defensive structure primarily, but I'm just going to focus on this attacking play and then come on to the defence. So the Irish have been very clever. They've tried to set up a maul in the centre of the field, but the Welsh forwards there and Jonathan Davies is standing off. So if you watch the clip, Jonathan Davies in the grey scrum hat actually comes around and gets himself onto the ball, and because there's not actually a maul, there's no offside line, it's open play, and he can do that.
Open play, 5 green was the ball carrier.
So this is a very nice image to show the Welsh defence, because if you look at it, they've got a long line of forwards ready to intercept the green attackers. So they've got 3 forwards there, the Irish, meaning it can go to, they can either crash it up with the first receiver, or they can do 2 or 3 pop passes to attack wider out. But because the Welsh defence is pushing up in that kind of arrowhead formation, it means they're actually restricting the width of the ball, and this allows the defence to reset, and the fullback is still covering across, so there's no chance of a kick, or if there is a break he can still get across. So don't be lazy even if it looks like you've got it sorted already.
Tackle and away come. Good work, 9. Balls available. You're holding him in. Don't hold him in. There's gaps.
Now this image is about how Wales are still defending even after they've already defended for 4 minutes and 11 seconds in that first phase of play. So this is after a penalty has been given away at the breakdown, and off the line out the Irish have managed to break the line, but there's so much extra work going on by the Welsh to mean the Irish cannot exploit their gains as fast. So we'll look at that tackle first. The first tackler is low, which means that the man goes down quickly, because if you go high there and try and drag him down, chances are he's actually going to make the line and just fall over onto it, because he'll have lots of momentum. And then the second tackler is a support tackler. He goes high, one that stops the offload and could force a knock-on possibly if you're playing at a lower level, and it also slows down the ball because it gives chance for the first man in to get up, and also it looks like you've just been trapped in as a tackler, so it gives you an extra second or two to roll away. but you've got to just be careful when you're doing that. And if we look over to the left-hand side, Jonathan Davies again, quite a big leader in the Welsh defensive effort. He's wearing that grey scum cap and is marking Jonathan Sexton out of the game, so he can't actually get the offload. Rhys Webb is coming across, number 9 is coming across, and they're all working around the corner to reset for the next phase.
Use the line.
Okay, so I know this has been a long video, but bear with, because we've got only a couple of clips after this to explain. But if we look at in this, the Welsh team still has that long line of forwards, although on the right there's a small knot of them who are just getting up from the line out still and getting across. It means because of the effort to get around the corner, it limits the attacking limits the attacking edges, as it were, of the Irish, which means they can't penetrate the line as much. And if you look wide, there's only 2 Welsh defenders there, but these forwards who have come round the corner will actually be able to drift and cut it off, which means Heaslip, is the Irish attacker, is cutting back into them because he knows there's not really an opportunity out wide, despite it looking like there is.
Off your feet now. Off your feet, tight end. Thank you.
So, as you can see in that clip, Wales have been stretched to the side, but the most important thing here is, despite having defended for about 7 minutes, they've still got relatively the same structure. They've still got the front row and the guard, although this was different to the one I showed you earlier where they had a second row in the guard. It means the tight forward is always the first and then the second man, and it means because Ireland are employing a pick and go game now because they've failed to get any momentum, Scott Baldwin is actually there now to make the tackle rather than wasting a back rower there, because they'll be used over the ball rather than making the tackles unless they're really a blindside flanker such as Dan Lydiate, whose main job is to tackle the hell out of the opposition, which is why he often gets a high amount of tackles. And if you watch him tackle, he has a very good tackle where he chops the opposition at the ankles just to let his partner get in over the ball. But the Welsh team, even after around 7 minutes of defending, still have that formation, and even though they're tired and gasping for air, they're still making the tackles, which prevents the try being scored. So in this final image, we can see Jonathan Sexton is about to give away that penalty. So those green lines indicate the position of his body as he's going in for that ruck. I focus on this right-hand side of the body for now, but look at his arms. Okay, we'll focus on his back first, because it's parallel to the ground, and because the tackle hasn't actually been completed, this means he's not actually making much of an impact. And that is because of where his knee is positioned in relation to his ankle, because he needs to get a lot lower, but that's because of the number 8, Felipe Faletau. So Lydia is coming around to put pressure on the ball. He's the closest guy on the left in the red shirt. And number 8, Felipe Faletau, is rolling, trying to roll away because the tackle hasn't yet been completed, so he can't be penalised. He's trying to roll away, but he's been trapped in by Sexton, which in turn actually means Sexton can't get a good enough grip on the floor, so he's actually managing to force the penalty there to Felipe Faletau, because as he's rolling, it forces Sexton to change his body shape to that one where he's not really got any momentum going forward, which means he can't push himself by the tackle, and it eventually means, because of where his arms are positioned, that he actually just falls on top of the ruck and seals off, giving away the penalty. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed that. I will probably release the full defence just as itself. I don't know if I'm going to do that before or after I've finished editing the video, but I'll put that will be up on the channel sometime. Please leave a comment if you've got any ideas for some future content, or anything you want me to help you with just in general. All rights are reserved, obviously, because I don't want to get this video taken down. It's purely educational because I'm trying to teach people how you defend in rugby. I hope you guys have found it helpful. Subscribe if you want to hear more of my annoying voice explaining rugby. So, thank you very much again, and goodbye.